Number 11. Rebecca Rudd says, what advice do you have for Christians in college? Christians in college. Oh, man. There's a lot of issues going on there. Probably one of the number one things with college is that culturally you've moved into an environment. Okay, you're young enough where you're still probably likely to just sort of magnetically get pulled in the direction of the people you're around. This is pretty likely going to happen to you. So you're young enough for that to happen. But there's there's one issue. Okay, there's one issue is don't do that. So as a Christian in college, be involved with other Christians, be in Christian gatherings, and do it as much as you can, especially right now, because you're involved in a very worldly and ungodly environment. That's just what college is. Doesn't mean you're supposed to hate the other people. You want to outreach to them. You want to be, but you got to have integrity, which means you can't follow the lemmings off the bridge, right? You've got to walk the walk, and for that, be in Christian community because they will naturally pull you in the right direction. Do not starve yourself of fellowship. Don't even just go once a week. If you're in college, especially, I think, for this season, be as involved as you can. Other things, your professors, this would be my advice to anybody in college, is your professors are not as smart as you think. A lot of us have, now not every professor is like this. There's some great professors in colleges. I've had some great ones, but I've also had the other ones. And the truth is the professor knows so much more about the topics they're covering and many issues than the student in their class, right? 19-year-old, 20-year-old shows up and the professor knows so much more than them. And so I remember having professors in a piano class trying to teach me politics, right? And okay, true story. We were in, not piano class, music history class. And the teacher, he was talking about music history and he mentioned something about the Reformation, and he talked about how rude it was, how the Reformation started when Martin Luther took these 95 theses and he just hammered them onto a church door. And he goes, can you imagine someone hammering something through your church door, your big, beautiful church door? And the class laughed because they were like, yeah, I never thought of how ridiculous this Martin Luther thing was. Like, wow, the Reformation started from defacing a church. Okay. And so I raised my hand and I was like, and by God's grace, happened to know this one thing. And I was like, well, yeah, actually the church door was the gathering place of the community. Everybody went to church. And so it was normal to put public notices on the church door. This was just what was normal and accepted. It's where you put things like that. It wasn't offensive. And now a lot of the students would have walked out of the class like feeling negatively about Christians or religion or Protestantism or something like that because of this professor who teaches music history. And so we get this a lot. We get statements, well, the Bible's been translated so many times. Like, if a college professor says this, it's because they're just highly ignorant on the issues, but they seem so smart. That's a danger of college. I would say another piece of advice I'd have for Christians in college is be diligent. It's hard sometimes at that young age to think that working really hard and getting good grades actually really matters. I had a hard time with that. Be diligent. Think of it like this. It's not just about grades. It's about you having a responsibility and honoring God with it. And so you work really hard and you do really well and you perform well as a way of saying, God, I'm learning diligence. I'm learning integrity that I will carry forward with me into everything I do in this world for you. And if you look at college like it's a ministry unto God, a service unto God, it will help you buckle down and work hard and do well. Yeah. Anyway, there's a few thoughts. There's more I could probably say, but